Hey swingers, how you doing? Quick note, this is Black Panther, this is Wonder Woman. I don't know. Small difference, I admit. Today we are talking about a movie that I should have talked about when it came out in the fall, but oops, hey, stuff happens. So we're talking about it now because it's recently debuted on Hulu, so you can watch it anytime, provided you have Hulu. And I am talking about Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. It's the film by Angela Robinson. It stars Luke Evans, Rebecca Hall as Elizabeth Marston, Luke Evans as Dr. William Marston, and Bella Heathcote as Olive Byrne. And hey, what's this movie about? Let's go check it out. Oh, Wonder Woman? Something like that? It's about the polyamorous relationship that William, Elizabeth, and Olive had, and how that and their politics regarding sexuality, gender equality, and such influenced not only Wonder Woman, their creation of Wonder Woman, but also generations up until the present, frankly. Let's look at pros. The way that Angela Robinson shoots the film is really interesting, the way she tells the story. She uses a interview that Marston is going through because he is being forced to defend what he's been writing with Wonder Woman, and we've been revisiting during the course of this interview his relationships with these two women. And, it does, successfully use montage and flashbacks to this effect. The acting is fantastic. Evans, Hall, and Heathcote, they sell this movie. The movie is pretty much put on top of them. They're in the majority of the film. There's not too much besides them, and they sell this movie. They sell these characters. They sell the relationship. Their chemistry among the three of them just is solid. There's not any kind of forced work going on here. You're very kind of entrenched in how believable these three are and the way they kind of sell this relationship in the film. Also, I like how this movie kind of goes into the conversation, and this film is a huge conversation about gender equality and sex, and as far as not just simply, hey, bondage is really naughty. No, they really kind of dig into what it is in these relationships, and giving someone permission, giving someone power. And it's really thoughtful. I mean, much more so than the 50 Shades movies, which are all just, I don't know, teenage fanfic of what you think naughty stuff is. This really kind of digs into what it is. And it's really refreshing. And it's also a romantic film. One of the things that have been a problem with a lot of romantic films and romantic comedies over the last generation or something like that is they tend to forget about romance. And this is a very romantic, beautiful film in that case. Now, let's dig into some cons. I'm gonna, put it out there. This is the elephant in the room. When this film came out, Elizabeth Marston's real-life granddaughter came out and said the sexual relationship between Olive and her grandmother never happened. And, it does kind of put a damper on what they're trying to do. And also, I watched the film as a Wonder Woman fan. I knew some inaccuracies here and there. And, for instance, one that really glared to me is the fact that William Marston came to DC Comics with this idea just off the street. And, very kind of classic, oh, hey, let me pitch you an idea. No, he was already working with DC Comics at the time. And he had actually partly got the job because of Olive. And they kind of shoot that. I understand that, movies are movies and you have to kind of quickly tell your story in a simplistic way. Also that I do know from reading this book, The Secret History of Wonder Woman, that Marston insisted on the relationship. It didn't kind of like come naturally like it is portrayed in the film. He actually insisted, like, he told Elizabeth, like, look, we don't do this thing, we're getting a divorce. You know, they don't do that in the movie. So I feel like this film, at times, kind of looks past some of the things that Marston does that could be thought of as a little sketchy. I understand that's the film they were trying to make, but it might have made more like a layered movie if we saw some of the things he did was not so cool. Let's see, do I have anything? Let's see. Cons. Oh, it does. Let's see, some of the film and scoring does kind of have that kind of like 90s important film that, you know, the movie Ghost World was kind of making fun of. But, you know, other than that, I'm going to like say that to its defense, it really, it does kind of, it is a little bit of a problem of some of the inaccuracies in it, but you know what, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be real with you here. A lot of movies like this don't tell 100% of the truth. Now, I love Ed Wood. Ed Wood is an amazing movie. It's probably my favorite Tim Burton movie. It's excellent. I always recommend seeing it. That movie flubs the truth a lot. Like, it makes it look like Ed Wood did everything in his films. He wrote all his films. He kept Bella together. Bella, like, didn't have his family anymore, and, you know, Ed was his family. It's like, it's not nowhere near the truth. You know, Ed didn't write a lot of his films, or at least the majority of his films. Bella had his family. You know, he did have problems, but he wasn't as close to Ed as the film kind of like makes it look. But you know what? It almost doesn't matter because that film is amazing. And this film, Professor Marston, does kind of the same thing. It takes the legend of these characters and turns it into a really positive, inspiring story. You know, we do this with like real life people, like Paul Revere. You know, he didn't do, you know, half as much work as he is credited. He didn't save the whole colonies all by himself by making one ride. There are a number of people who did that, but we remember him specifically. Christopher Columbus was a monster. We kind of like, hey, thanks for discovering America with all these people already in it. That's actually a more extreme case. But let's see, this case, essentially, this is telling a story of how Wonder Woman and, you know, actually just leave aside Wonder Woman. The story puts together that love is love, and a relationship based out of love, and it can't always be defined specifically, and that's one of the things that really, you know, kind of came away with. And I can't bust on the movie that hard about it. I just can't. It's just really well done. I do recommend checking it out. I do recommend checking it out with fresh eyes, and maybe afterwards educate yourself if you find this movie fascinating. Check out this book. I found this incredibly fascinating and very helpful. This is The Secret History of Wonder Woman by Joe Lepore, and they almost, you know, can kind of go hand in hand. I do recommend it as a companion film to the Wonder Woman film. You know, it's funny, we had 3 movies in 2017 about Wonder Woman. This is the second best one, so I do recommend checking it out. I'm going to give it a strong 4 out of 5 Ram chips, and it's on Hulu right now, so go take a look. I think that's it for now, so push the button, Lindsay.
I can't update nobody like me.